Elon Musk's empire is worth hundreds of billions, and you helped pay for it. Jeff Bezos? He hasn't taken a dime from you. This one hidden fact exposes which billionaire actually built a money machine, and which one built a fragile dream. After breaking down their finances, contracts, and funding trails, I discovered something no one's talking about. By the end, you'll know which empire could survive anything, and which one is one bad quarter away from collapse. In the next 10 minutes, we're not just comparing two billionaires. We're revealing the truth behind two completely different paths to wealth. I analyzed every financial move these titans made, their government deals, cash flow plays, and risky bets. And what I found doesn't just change how you see these billionaires, it flips the story of empire building itself. Because this isn't about rockets and cars. It's about building something that prints money versus building something that burns it. If you're the kind of person who doesn't just want headlines, but wants to understand the architecture of wealth, then this is your channel. This is The Wealth Project. Subscribe and follow now to learn the rules the rich play by. The cash flow fortress versus the leveraged web. Let's start with what most people get wrong. They think this is about net worth. It's not. Net worth is just a number that changes every time a stock moves. The real question is, how did they build their empires? Jeff Bezos built the cash flow fortress. Think of Amazon as a massive river of money that never stops flowing. Every day, millions of people buy things on Amazon. Every hour, thousands of companies pay Amazon Web Services to host their websites. That's not hype, that's cold hard cash flowing in right now. And here's the genius part. While everyone watched Amazon deliver packages, AWS quietly became one of the most profitable businesses on the planet. In 2023 alone, AWS generated over $30 billion in operating income. That's pure profit. So what does Bezos do with all that cash? He funds Blue Origin. Every year, he sells about $1 billion of Amazon stock and pours it straight into his space company. He doesn't need investors. He doesn't need loans. It's like cashing a dividend check from a money printer he built himself. Now let's talk about Elon Musk. Musk built the leveraged web. His empire isn't powered by cash flow. It's powered by narrative. By convincing the world that the future he's selling is inevitable. Tesla doesn't just sell cars. It sells a story about the future. And that story is so powerful that investors keep pouring billions into the company even when it was losing money. Between 2016 and 2020, Tesla raised over $20 billion by issuing new stock and bonds. That's other people's money, bet on Musk's vision. So now you understand the core difference. Bezos built a fortress, Musk built a web. But here's what nobody talks about. Musk's web isn't just funded by investors. A huge chunk of it is funded by you, the taxpayer. And when you see the numbers, you'll realize this rivalry was never a fair fight. The hidden money behind the empires. Let's follow the money. Tesla makes billions every year from regulatory credits. Here's how it works. Governments want car companies to make electric vehicles, but most don't want to. So they created a system where companies like Ford and GM have to buy credits from Tesla just to avoid fines. It's like Tesla built a pollution points casino, and the other car companies are the house's biggest gamblers. In 2022 alone, Tesla made over $1.7 billion selling these credits. That's free money. No cars sold, just a check from their competitors. Now let's talk about SpaceX. Everyone loves the story of Elon Musk, the self-made space pioneer. But here's the truth. NASA has awarded SpaceX over $15 billion in contracts since 2008, all taxpayer funded. SpaceX earned those contracts by building better rockets cheaper and faster. But let's be clear, the US government de-risked Musk's entire space business. Without NASA, there's no SpaceX. Compare that to Bezos. Blue Origin's core funding comes from his own stock sales, $1 billion a year, out of his own pocket. No debt, no dependency. And here's the part that should blow your mind. Amazon's free cash flow in 2023 was over $35 billion. Bezos could fund 35 Blue Origins every single year, and Amazon wouldn't even blink. This contrast between Bezos funding Blue Origin with fortress profits and Musk using leverage and government backing raises a big question. Which strategy would you choose to build your empire? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this breakdown is shifting your perspective, give the video a like. It tells the algorithm this is the kind of content that matters to you. So now you see how they fund their empires. Bezos uses his own fortress. Musk uses other people's money. But here's the question nobody asks. What happens when the money stops flowing? Because in 2022, we got the answer, and it almost destroyed Musk's entire empire. The Twitter trap. October 2022. Elon Musk buys Twitter for $44 billion. And almost immediately, it becomes the biggest financial mistake of his life. Here's what happened. In April 2022, when Musk made his offer, Tesla stock was flying high. But then, between April and October, Tesla's stock price collapsed. It dropped by nearly 50%. And because Musk's entire empire is built on leverage, that collapse created a crisis. Musk was now juggling flaming swords while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. And Tesla investors were watching with dread. He was forced to sell over $20 billion of Tesla stock just to close the deal. And every share he sold pushed the stock price down even further. It was a death spiral in slow motion. But it got worse. When he bought Twitter, he loaded the company with $13 billion in debt. That means Twitter now has to pay over $1 billion a year just in interest. For a company that was barely profitable, that's a death sentence. And here's the nightmare. When your empire is built on leverage, you don't hold the reins. The market does. One bad swing, and the whole web shakes. If Tesla's stock drops, Musk's net worth drops. If investors lose faith, his ability to raise money disappears. Bezos doesn't have that problem. Amazon's cash flow doesn't care what the stock market thinks. The fortress keeps running no matter what. So now you understand the risk. Musk's empire is faster and flashier, but it's also more vulnerable. And that brings us to the final question. Who really built the bigger empire? Because the answer depends on something most people never think about. The verdict. Here's the truth. It depends on how you define bigger. If you measure by resilience, Bezos wins. His empire is a fortress. It can survive recessions, market crashes, and economic chaos. Amazon will keep printing cash no matter what happens. Build something so profitable that you never have to ask anyone for permission. But if you measure by influence, Musk wins. His empire has changed the world faster than Bezos ever could. Tesla made electric vehicles cool. SpaceX made space travel affordable. Starlink is connecting the planet. But here's the part that matters to you. These two men represent two completely different paths to wealth. Bezos forged a fortress, slow, steady, relentless. A machine that prints cash day after day, year after year. Musk spun a web, flashy, fragile, and world-changing. A net woven from vision, hype, and the faith of millions willing to bet on him. Two empires, two blueprints, one built to last, one built to matter. Bezos proved that patience and discipline will always beat hype in the long run. His fortress will outlive him. Amazon and AWS will keep printing money for decades. It's a perpetual motion machine for generating capital. But Musk proved that vision and leverage can move faster than anyone thought possible. He turned Tesla into the most valuable car company on Earth without being the biggest. He made SpaceX the dominant force in space in less than 20 years. And he did it all by convincing the world to bet on him. So which empire truly wins? The fortress that outlives its builder, or the web that bends the world in real time? Maybe the real answer isn't choosing between them, it's surviving long enough to play both games. That's how you build an empire that's both resilient and influential. Because the biggest empire isn't the one with the most money. It's the one that can survive anything and still change the world. What looked like two billionaires racing to space was actually a masterclass in two completely different philosophies of wealth. One is a fortress, one is a web. And now you know which one could survive a collapse. Before you go, understand this. What you saw today is just one side of how billionaires build power. If today's breakdown opened your eyes to how power really moves behind the scenes, the next video will take you even deeper. The next billion-dollar play is one click away. Keep playing smarter with The Wealth Project. Pick our latest insight or a curated favorite right here on your screen.